Alright, so here with a video, a little different this time, but wanted to kind of do one where I'm showing the process of how I'm coming up with my monogram, because I didn't want to just kind of take something, I wanted to build it from scratch, but here I am showing a little bit about, some inspiration I've found. This one I'd liked a lot here on the left, but it's asymmetrical, which I didn't want. You can see the left is thinner than the right on the A, but I did like that overall image. This one, really cool. Probably a little too intricate for what I'm trying to do, but I did like the old English kind of style. This one here is one I've seen quite a bit on Pinterest, and I like all the designs here. They're really cool and just really creative. The one on the bottom right is really cool here, but I don't know if I love the way that the alpha and the omega really like become one and they overlap at the bottom. It's interesting, but I just don't think I like that particularly. And yeah, I'm just not finding a whole lot else. I mean, that isn't stuff I've already seen before, so I think I'll just go ahead and hop into Illustrator and kind of get started with some ideation. And so basically why I wanted to use Illustrator was because I knew that you can somehow use like a mirror function, because I wanted it to be perfectly symmetrical for my monogram. And so I was trying to figure that out. And so I just hop in and kind of start, trying to figure it out. But I just went over to YouTube and was able to find a good tutorial, quick tutorial to kind of get the mirror function working. And just kind of started making the omega, getting to work, and then kind of figuring out what I want it to look like. I think with my first ideation, I kind of wanted it to be more angular. And so, just kind of proceeded with that as I'm working on this. And I mean, you tell me, but when I finished this, it just really looked kind of evil. Um, I don't know what it's reminiscent of. Maybe like the Majin Buu curse mark from Dragon Ball Z, although I think that's a bit more cursive-y. This one is kind of more, it's very angular, which is what I was going for, but I didn't think it would look so evil. So kind of just shelved this one, kept it, but shelved it, and started with another ideation. Yeah, I don't know what to say, but little hint of evil going on there. So moving on to the next one, wanted it to be not angular because I didn't want to have a repeat of the last design. So I kind of started out with it being those like round points, like the old English stuff, and then I just kind of went more like normal A, and then kind of once I had that, started playing around with the different elements, like the downward angle on the A, and then also the kind of like wing tips almost at the top, and then a bit more traditional with the feet of the A. And then the omega, I don't know, it's just giving me a little bit of trouble, because you're kind of like limited with what you can do. The A, I could get something kind of creative with the top, but the omega is a little trickier. So I just kind of like got the shape, and then was gonna just play around with it after that, and didn't really know what I was doing, but kind of slowly worked on it, and then kind of got to this point where it's really thin at the top and then thicker towards the bottom, and then the feet are, they're not identical to the alpha's, feet, but it's pretty close. and I was pretty happy with this. I know it's going to be difficult with the feet, or kind of closer to the feet where there's that little gap. That's going to be very difficult to carve because, you know, getting all of that material out of the carving, it's just going to be tough. But there's not a whole lot else I can do. I don't like it, you know, any other way on the monogram where I make more space there. So I'm just going to kind of roll with it, and then I'll probably hate myself for doing that 3 or 4 videos down the line when I'm trying to excavate all that material. But we'll see. But I'm pretty happy with this design. You know, I'm not a graphic designer, so critique my graphic design, you know, work. But I wanted to have something original to work with because, you know, I wanted it to be my own work. So, and I didn't want it to be something I just drew by hand because like I said, I wanted it to be symmetrical. So I popped into Illustrator. I'm by no means an expert in Illustrator, but just, you know, YouTube Academy. So happy with this. I was able to get a couple pieces of carbon copy paper, so I'll be able to trace this design perfectly onto the stone without having to like cut out the monogram that I print out and, you know, be really exact with holding it onto the stone and stuff. And I can just literally hold this over the paper, trace it out, and it'll be perfect. So looking forward to that video. That'll be coming pretty soon. Trying to be a bit more consistent in my uploads. And yeah, so let me know what you think of this in the comments, and I will see you all in the next video.